Hi dear Downlanders friends. This video is a reply on a request from people who are asking me why do I talk about Wudang Fitness as a separate thing from Taijiquan. Because a lot of people think that Taijiquan and the way how it's been done is just the way how it's been done, and that is providing you the fitness. So we are going to ask ourselves a few questions. That's about what is actually fitness all about.
And what is Wudang Fitness? Where does it come from and where does it relate to? And where do we get motivated to actually do something about our health and our fitness?
We're going to do a Wudang Fitness class for the instructor class school. And we are also going to go then through a basic program and make it easy for ourselves, so to say. So we're standing with the feet shoulder wide on the heels. We open up the three gates, and that's the basic starting posture for the Wudang Fitness. Allow your breath to calm down, your weight to sink. Pay attention a bit to the outer form of your body. You're basically preparing yourself for all kinds of activities. Make sure your breath is slow and gradual. In this video, I am going to show you on the same background as where I'm standing right now, some exercises from a class of Wudang Fitness that I was recently giving, so that you can have a little bit of an idea about what is Wudang Fitness on a particular level. We're going to talk more about the extension of this fitness as a whole, because all these kind of fitnesses that we talk about in Taoism, these are extensions of what it's called usually the range of what we call Taijiquan sports, or the range of Qigong, the range of Daoyin, and so on. So we are going to talk a little bit about that so that you have a bit of idea, but the exercises here are specifically for one particular kind of Wudang Fitness, one particular kind of Qigong, if you want to know it like that. One of the most difficult things that I deal with as a teacher is that a lot of people think that fitness is that what you do in the gym, or that what you do on the sport field in competition, playing a game with somebody else. And there are a few other things that play a role in there. But no, that is not actually what is fitness all about. When I talk to sports people, when you talk about fitness, they usually recall for themselves that weightlifting is fitness. And I don't know how that mistake has come about, but language is full of all kinds of mistakes about how to call things. Fitness actually is the capacity to do your daily things. So at the moment when you have a day, and your day has 24 hours, and you have to do all kinds of things like going to work, taking care of your kids, taking care of your house, taking care of your family, taking care of yourself, of course, taking care of your pets, all the different kind of things that we normally do during the day. If we can do these things without getting tired by the end of the day, then we can say we are fit. At the moment when we have some extra space to do something extra if we want to, that is like super fitness. At the moment when we are able to achieve something in a particular kind of sports, that doesn't mean that we are fit, because there's a lot of people who actually were really very fit in the concept of sports, but they died from COVID, and that means that they were not really fit. They were already pretty much exhausted biologically, and that's what you see with a lot of people who go to do sports, that after 40 they are basically finished with their sports. They can't do things anymore. They have to slow things down. That is also why you saw this influx from Shaolin people who are doing wushu and so on, eventually coming into Taijiquan or coming into Wudang Tai Chi specifically, because they are before excelling in their hard Kung Fu, and then they realize about 35, like, if I continue like this, I'm going to die of a heart attack. So then they go do something else. And then they start mixing up all kinds of ideas. And as a result of the mixing up of ideas, they actually give a lot of false images about what Taoist martial arts and what Taoist sports actually in that sense is. Because martial arts, what is that exactly? We are going to talk about that in another video. The things we can say about the fitness that you need to do in your daily life, what you have to have is that you have to be able to perform your actions properly, and that you have to have a particular kind of endurance, and that you have to have the right kind of strength. What you see when people are aging is usually that the performance precision becomes less. When people are aging, then their endurance becomes less, and as a last one, their strength becomes less. The advice usually is go weightlifting so that your bones and your muscles become stronger, but in effect, even though that gives some increase of a particular kind of qualities, it doesn't necessarily mean that you become more healthy or that you become more developed. And we're going to talk a little bit about other aspects of fitness which are really very essential for people as a whole. It's actually pretty funny that people think that doing your daily things is not a form of exercise. And in fact, everything you do now is a preparation for what you do later. So when you are doing things right today, then tomorrow you can do these things too. And at the moment when you lack or you slack in your activities, then gradually your stamina, your conditioning and your achievement, your capacity to do things becomes less. Even if you sit every day behind a desk, you build a particular kind of endurance in doing these kind of things. I personally wouldn't be able to sit behind a desk all day. I have to move around and do different kind of things, and I'm very happy because of that with my job, because in my job I continuously jump between different activities. I can concentrate these things and provide the best service anybody can ever offer in this branch of work. I am very versatile in a lot of different kind of things, and I keep track of the development of knowledge in my field. And in everybody's field of life, daily life, that is very important to do. The thing is, nature works through gradual processes. And that means that if you do your daily things, then gradually you will get an improvement. And that is the whole point of Daoist Fitness. It says you have to work with nature. You do not try to work against nature. Like what we do normally when we go to think about exercise is that we have to go to the gym, we have to go to do a competitive sport, or we have to go do an endurance sport. And then the alternative sports like meditation, yoga, Taijiquan, Qigong, breathing practice, all these kind of alternative sports, they are considered not important enough to actually count in the general repertoire. Of course, nowadays the gyms, they offer also very often yoga, tai chi and so on and so on, but it is on the same implications as they would do say an aerobics class or a steps class. So that means that the endurance, performance and so on as being done in general gym sports is also controlling the quality of what they are doing at that moment. And that does not necessarily mean the things that you should do when you do Taijiquan sports, because the language of Taijiquan sports, which actually provides you with the ideas about what you should achieve, is not being used. And if it is even used, it is used with a falsifying translation. I'm not going to talk about that right now, but that is just generally what happens. And it's the same like with acupuncture and Chinese massage. They are being done on the basis of Western medicine, and as a result of that, the aims and goals of acupuncture as it was are not being reached. The aims and performance of what is wanted in Western medicine is also not always reached. So as a result of that, a lot of people say like, see, it is fake because it doesn't work. It just has different goals, it has different methods and so on. That's with Tai Chi sports the same. You can't judge Tai Chi sports on the basis of say football or weightlifting or aerobics.
Keep pushing upward. Creating space in your knees, your ankles, torque your leg bones and your vertebrae. Turn as far back as comfortable, preferably 180 degrees. Okay, good. And go forward. Stretch out, pull to the left.
What is important is that you have to understand the motivation to go do sports. There is on average worldwide statistically about 10 to maximum 20% of all the people, they are engaged in sports in an active way. The range of the people who actually really go to a very high level of sports is of course very narrow, and in the width of sports there is a larger amount, but it is still relatively few compared to all the people who don't do anything about exercise. So for them, if you are listening into this video, or you're watching into this video, then at that moment I have to satisfy you with the answer that what you do in your daily life, that is also sports. It is also exercise, and it also helps you to develop your stamina. As long as you don't sit all the time on the sofa, you will get a lot more circulation in your body, and your mood will enhance because of doing things. And this has to do with the way how you motivate yourself to do things. So to find satisfaction in your daily life, your work, your relationships, your friendships, the things that you do in general, these are the main things that has to motivate you to get through your day and to pass your day and to have the feeling like this was a satisfying day and this is going to be a new satisfying day tomorrow. And my life as a whole is meaningful because I don't do things to harm people or to steal from people or all kind of other things that we know on forehand that they're actually not really good, and they don't help society and they don't help us individually too, because they create a sense of wrongness in our life. So what we in general can see is that motivation, and what motivates us, is that what guides us and that helps us to sustain a particular kind of activity. And in some cases I sometimes think like, why am I doing this? This is okay, it is normal to have a little bit of doubt about whether you're on the right track or not. But the thing is that at the moment when you go to bed, you go satisfied to bed without being tired, then at that moment you know like, okay, I had a satisfying day because I have done everything in a way that was not tiring, not exhausting. So in a similar kind of fashion, at the moment when you feel motivated to exercise one way or the other, and you are reaching the goals of what you need for your daily fitness, then that is of course very good. If you can enhance that a little bit, that is even better, because this kind of fitness is also required for a particular kind of achievement. When we look at the nature of exercise, doing exercise, and our motivations, we see that there are two basic motivations. One is intrinsic motivation and the second one is extrinsic motivation. So let's discuss briefly these two different kind of motivations, because they reveal a lot about why we do things and how we have results from that. When we talk about intrinsic motivation, we can basically say this is our motivation, our inner motivation, why we do things. We want to achieve something, or we have a particular kind of goal that we want to achieve. For instance, restoration from disease when we are revalidating, or we want to achieve particular kind of spiritual goals, or we want to just become healthy, and so on and so on. All these kind of things, they're actually pretty much related to each other. We'll talk a little bit about it a little bit later. At the moment we talk about extrinsic motivation, then we are mostly guided by, for instance, reward, like such as topping ourselves in our achievements, or we're talking about fear to be punished about things. We try to avoid particular kind of things, like for instance dying, which is a very good motivation. So you can see that intrinsic and extrinsic motivation doesn't have to do anything specifically with the way how sports is being done by the mainstream people, but it has to do with everybody in our daily life. Even if we don't exercise, we have intrinsic and extrinsic motivations, and these kind of things, these are guiding us in why we do particular kind of things. In general, we can say that most people, they will exercise because they look for a particular kind of improvement in something. Maybe their stamina, maybe their endurance. Oh, that's the same. Maybe in their stamina, maybe in their way of performing particular kind of things, or maybe in their intellectual prowess, and so on and so on. So all these kind of things, they are relevant. And what we can say that specifically in the alternative branches of sports, we see that there is this overlap which is relatively fluid between looking for beauty, looking for health, but also looking for spiritual development. These three things, they are not clearly separated between each other. So at the moment when we are exercising like in Taijiquan or in yoga, some people will be motivated by beauty, some people will be motivated by the beauty of their looks, or by the way, the beauty of how their moves are being made. You see, for instance, in modern Taijiquan, you see a lot of effect influenced by Taijiquan, and then you see all these rotations and motivations in there because they are seen as more beautiful, because they imitate the natural forces that should take place inside your body. And the idea is that when you make these motivations, that eventually they become internal and then they get there. But yes, that is in a way true, but it will take you a very long time to get there. The problem with these things is that you have to have a genuine need to achieve this goal. That means that you're convinced one way or the other, really motivated to achieve that goal. For instance, because you want to become enlightened, because you need a better body form to be able to do your job better, or you need to enhance the quality of your breathing so that you can control your heart rhythm, or your stomach, or your belly flow. Also on the level of seeking for spiritual goals in Taoist and Eastern philosophy in general, the idea is that you can only develop yourself spiritually if you are really very healthy. At the moment when you are not fully healthy, your priority is getting healthy, and then spirituality is something that comes behind. It's the same like when you do martial arts. Sure, maybe you want to learn to fight because you feel threatened by your environment, or maybe you just like to bully people. So these kind of things are important. There are therefore deep motivations and there are superficial motivations. And it is important to discern between these two. And the deep motivations, they keep you in track for a long time. The superficial motivations, you will always face a moment where you say like, I can't go any further like this because, for instance, I'm getting too old, or I am being beaten by somebody else, and so on.
Morning. Okay, opposite direction. Anybody knows what time it is?
One of the main things that I get questions about when they talk to me, when people talk to me and they ask me about Wudang Fitness, what do I mean with that, is that usually people think that Taijiquan and Qigong, they are slow moving and so on and so on. But in fact, things like yoga, breathing practice, aerobic-like practices and so on, they are all part of Taijiquan, and they can be classified in 3 categories. And these 3 categories within the Daoland healthcare program, we have these as programs, and I will explain to you a little bit about them. The first one is what we call Wudang Fitness 1, the second one is called Wudang Fitness 2, and the third one is Wudang Fitness 3. You actually need all 3 of those, but in the program, for instance, that we call the basic healthcare program, we have only the breathing, the Dantian meditation and the food medicine and the Wudang Fitness 1, for the simple reason that at the moment when people do these 3 things, they have a broad understanding about all the different aspects of their life that they need to nourish themselves for at the moment when they want to become healthy and fit. The Wudang Fitness 1 is built on the idea of developing agility, and this agility can be achieved by creating the right kind of rotation in your body. So at the moment when you create the right kind of rotation and your body is open, then at that moment you can do a lot of things, but you also have to be able to do it nimbly so that you can go fast through your moves without any hindrance. And that is something that you gradually build up. It should not be forced, because when you force it, you actually create fear and tension in your body. And this is what regular sports do. They create fear and tension. That is also why you get acidification of your muscles. And in Taoist practice, acidification is not seen as a good thing. So you want to learn to do these things in the right way, and you need the right kind of explanation before you start exercising. So that is very important. And in the app, for instance, that people can follow, or in the classes that we have in our program, then at that moment you can go through all these kind of things, and you're being told all these things all the time, so that you can be reminded also many times. The agility is necessary because it helps you to relax your blood vessels and your intestines and your muscles and so on, so that you can quickly react to changing situations, like for instance in a natural disaster, in an accident, or at the moment when you have to save somebody from falling from a bridge, or jumping in front of a car, or falling in front of a car. There's all kind of reasons why we have to be agile. This is something that we already learned in Neolithic times, when we were escaping our animal state and we were becoming human. We know that we have to be quick and fast and nimble. So when people do Taijiquan, they do it very slow, very nice, very beautiful, because it helps you to note all the different kind of details of your movement into the right order, so it helps your memory. But Taijiquan also has to be done in a fast way, and that means that it has to be done in a fast but easygoing way, so it should not exhaust you as a result of that. And the second one is based on the idea of developing balance and strength. That means that if your balance is good, you have strength. You have a particular kind of strength which is based on your balance. And the third one is to create endurance and strength. That means that your body has the intrinsic value of maintaining balance over a long time under large duress. For instance, when you try to hold up a plane when it's trying to crash. You know, the Superman thing. The secret of motivation and the secret of fitness is very simply in the fact that at the moment when you are fit, you are feeling comfortable about yourself. At the moment when you are not fit, you will accumulate all kind of worries and pains and all kind of things through which you feel that your life is not going in the right direction. It's the same with a country. If everybody works together, the country is fit and it will function properly and it will cooperate with its neighbors even if they are far away. If the country is not fit, that means it chooses the wrong kind of leadership, it seeks conflict, it excludes people from its community, and so forth and so forth. So these are signs of the fact that the country is not fit, and that's for your body the same. So at the moment when you are not fit, you will hate it when you are being touched by strange things like a virus or something like this. At the moment when you are healthy and you are touched by a virus, yeah, sure, maybe you become sick because there is a lot of virus, but you can handle it. So usually within 1 or 2 days a virus will be worked out of your body, while at the moment when you're not sick, you can have it for a long, when your body is not fit, you can have it for a very long time. And like with long COVID, people are suffering from these kind of things because they don't learn the right kind of fitness and they need to seek the right kind of practice. When people are revalidating from an accident or from a disease or anything like that, because they don't get the right kind of revalidation, they only test you on the ability to do a particular kind of things, but it is not put into a holistic perspective. And at that moment also, as a result of that, nothing very much is happening. When people are just learning Taijiquan, sure, they will not become fit because it does not fit somewhere in their life. It does not make a relationship with their daily life. It is just something that they do, and sure, they have pleasure from it, but is it actually contributing to their life? That is just a big question. So that means that one way or the other, the growth process of Taijiquan also lets you accumulate more things inside your life that contribute to that. And that means that the principles of what you're learning should be applied in your daily life. If it is not applied in your daily life, then people can say all kind of marketing shit, and they can talk about all kind of psychotherapeutic shit, and they can talk about all kind of smurf shit, and they can do all kind of things, they can tell you all kind of things, but in effect it is useless. That's why you keep on coming back to the same problems all the time.
Over the vertical line of your body. Backwards, move backwards also when you do that. If you hit somebody who is standing behind you, trying to pickpocket your phone or your wallet.
You have to become fit to be able to dig yourself out of the damage that you do. And as a result of that, you are going to be fit and you will be able to lead a life that hopefully lasts 180 years. The fact that you're aging, and you know, I am not an exception at this point, although I'm doing pretty good for my age, what I hear is that your life in general gradually degrades because of a lack of fitness. So aging in itself is a sign of lack of fitness. When I give acupuncture facelift treatments, then at that moment I show people, look, this is just because of the gradual decline of your life as a result, as a whole. That is not what people want to hear usually. Yeah, but there are a lot of habits that people have that actually lead to aging. Eating meat, drinking alcohol, taking drugs, being angry very quickly, being happy very quickly, being cheerful and laughing out loud, doing all kind of things without staying peaceful in your mind and in your heart. All these kind of things, they help you to age and therefore degrade your level of fitness.
More circulation, better muscles, and one of the arterial. Up.
As a conclusion, I hope this is actually satisfying to you and that you think to yourself like, yeah, I have to go have a closer look at myself, and maybe I should contact this Yoli O and ask him more about what he means with his Daoist fitness. Maybe join his classes and maybe participate or maybe train to become a holistic health producer, coach, manager, and so on in itself. Even though it is a little bit of a long study, it is taking you at least 2 years to get to that point. Then at that moment still you're going to be contributing to the life of many people, including your own life, because that is of course your most important life. If you live longer and healthier and happier, you're going to contribute to other people way better than when you're sickly and so on. You always have to depend on other people. Besides, being weak and sick also costs society a lot of money, and in many countries, the USA is one of them, being sick is extra expensive because people really try to abuse your need by charging you too much. And a lot of people, they're not into sharing, so they're not willing to help you that much. So achieving fitness is something that you have to do and that you can do. So if you're really interested in these kind of things, just don't hesitate to contact me. In the commentaries below, I will give you a few links that can help you directly. If you have questions, just put them in the comments. I will answer them. Maybe not immediately, it depends a little bit on how much time I have or when I see them. I usually check once a week for comments that I think that I should really answer very quickly. Connect with me on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on TikTok, all these kind of things, all these kind of places you can find me, and you can ask me questions. I'm always open to anything to answer. If you need me to come to your area to give a few classes or workshops to help people to get to a particular kind of point, or to help you set up a career in this kind of job like what I have, then you're welcome to. I have to open the door.
For ages. The peculiarities of the Wudang Fitness, especially the agility training, is in the fact that you start usually very slow and gradually increase your speed. And in about 50 minutes, you do somewhere between 60 and 120 different exercises to speed up your ability to move and not lose your balance, and therefore control your muscles in a way that is mostly optimized for your daily life. And of course, in daily life, a lot of people, they are not moving there very much, but they need to move a lot, and the body has to be capable to do so. So we work to help peace coming into the body by bringing the warmth and the pressure from the body from the top down to the bottom, and also to make sure that all the joints are properly rotated and your muscles are being flexed and being softened. So just try it.
Arms, opposite direction. These were my kids. They were just coming home from playing Kung Fu. I teach them already to play Kung Fu in a very young age. This is one, and this is the other one. Oh, 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 oh. Ah! So as a result of that, they're actually pretty strong and pretty healthy, and they restore very quickly from damage that they might get during their life as a whole. And they do good learning, because that is also the result of fitness, is that learning is good. So if you want to join also for Kung Fu classes for your kids, you're welcome to.
Throw, 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 throw. Rotate your neck. Opposite direction. And rotate your chest. Allow your arms to hang loosely. Keep your eyes open so that you do not get dizzy or fall over. Opposite direction. A lot of people will have difficulty with this exercise. And rotate your hips. Big circles. And opposite direction. And make a small circle with your hips. Help you to open up your sacral bone area, also opposite direction. Very practical move for many things, like when you have to move somebody out of the way and fighting. Other foot. saying 3. This was about 30 minutes. A little bit more, but not much.